I'm actually going to talk about Marcus. We are Marcus. Marcus is one of the 24 million students growing up in a fatherless household in the United States. I'm actually Marcus in some way. I was raised by a single mom, and when I was attending my high school advisement meeting for college advisement, I was told very clearly that I would never attend a four-year college. I was a B-plus student and captain of several varsity sports teams, as well as vice chair of the economic club. And ultimately, I ended up making it to college, and I had the support of a loving mentor and a mom that came in and fired that high school guidance counselor really quickly. That changed the direction of my life, mostly because that mentor also answered many of the questions that I didn't know to ask. Now, those are the kind of the keys to success, but We Are Marcus delivers that success directly to students in a content delivery system so that we don't have to wait for the mentor. And the Campaign for Black Male Achievement estimates that number at about 16 million missing mentors. There's a lot of missing conversation, a lot of missing social capital that students don't get. Our content delivery system delivers that experience, and then we can monitor in real time the student growth through their writing. Now, we exist to revolutionize mentoring, and now in my personal experience also informs this in some ways, because I've worked at a couple social impact startups, taught in the founding year of a school, taught kindergarten, and happened to also help President Obama get elected in Virginia on the operations team, scaling their operation from 22 offices to 72. We did that in 6 months. Now, I also volunteered at a lot of mentoring organizations, and what they rely on is matching. So that's the one-to-one model. So I thought to myself, if I have access to this mentor and it's one-to-one, does it work? Does it scale? Does it create that, does it close that gap with the missing mentors? And the answer is no. So We Are Marcus was created to scale from 1-to-1 to 1-to-20, 1-to-50, and 1-to-1,000. Now, we've seen early success in our pilots in New York and DC with students. Actually, a charter school right down the road in Georgia Avenue, we saw students improve their attendance rates and improve outcomes, getting closer relationships with educators, which means more classroom learning time, and then we can attack the achievement gap. We can revolutionize mentoring and actually change the direction of thousands of lives and get mentors closer to students. In the spring, we will be expanding to 6 new territories. And I just got off the phone with a guy in University of North Texas that runs a TRIO programs. That's $625 million in Title I Part A funding that comes through programs throughout the country. So our market is big, but our footprint is getting there really soon. New York, DC, Charlotte, South Africa, and Dubai is where we're going. We have those MOUs lined up, and we're excited to see what happens, but also grow our team. There are 3 ways for everyone to get involved. And we had a fun bit.ly mentioned earlier, and our bit.ly is bit.ly/wham launch. Our Indiegogo campaign is looking to raise $50,000. We're currently in a couple accelerators, so we're seeing that go, and we're growing our audience. Next way is to buy a cool t-shirt. I'm wearing one. And you could support us at wearemarcus.com. Lastly, I mentioned the schools, after schools, and we're going to parents soon as well. You can connect us to a school board or charter school, go on our Indiegogo campaign, and go in and put in your comments. And if you want to introduce us to someone, you can do it there. You can also reach out. I would love to talk to you, Christopher King at We Are Marcus. So you can actually look that up on LinkedIn and connect with me and shoot me a direct message. Thank you so much. The future of mentoring starts now.
That's great. Questions from our judges?
Great presentation. So I have a couple questions for you. The first is, can you describe the The platform itself, is it a mobile application or is it a web platform? How exactly are the students and the mentors engaging? Like, just can you go a little bit deeper about that? Also your revenue model, and whether or not you are B2B, like you're selling this platform to schools, or it's actually to individuals?
All of the above. So the two-part question, one, describe the product. WHAM Pro is our enterprise platform for schools and after-school programs. So that's, if you imagine Netflix on the front and Blackboard on the back and some magic secret sauce in the middle, right? So the behavior analytics that we're developing on students, and we want to drive this conversation, particularly on Black youth, is to give them this sort of grit metric to break down student engagement and syntax, length and depth of their responses, and their engagement on the platform in terms of how long they're on a particular video and their progress throughout the scheme. So that's WHAM Pro. It's a curated video. We've curated that content, cut it up into chapters, 15 chapters, with 3 speakers right now, with 7 on deck. So we'll have actually 10 engaging speakers speaking on a variety of topics, and we'll be able to analyze the students and how they're taking in that information, providing them access to a conversation that used to be just with one person. Now we have data to drive and figure out what kids like, what mentors like, and then how the students are progressing. WHAM Go is our app we're working on, which is actually an augmented reality experience for students to access on the go, so that when I was on the subway and I was trying to pull something up, we can get offline access to our mentoring experience, that students who are limited by Wi-Fi and data caps, they can also access the content that way.
Absolutely, great presentation, and thank you for the work that you're doing. My question is, and piggyback to the other judge, in reference to how are you able to motivate young people to utilize the app, and then how do you measure the impact of mentoring on the lives of the young people?
Sure. There was one part of Stacy's question that I didn't answer, so I want to get to both, which is the revenue model. So a subscription-based monthly recurring revenue piece of that whole Netflix answer is that monthly engagement. But the piece you had on engagement is answered by fun. So engagement equals fun. People stay on things because they have a good time with it. Particularly kids love Fortnite right now. So we're working on how to reward users as they go through the platform. And currently the facilitators will actually give them small doses. The other answer to that is 40 to 120 seconds of video max. So your attention span is not challenged.
Christopher, thank you. I'm going to make a statement that leads into my question. I invite you to fight this statement as we look at this. So EdTech is a big, fast, moving space with a lot of players. As you're coming into this, and as you think of yourself as EdTech, mentorship is often one of those things that is considered valuable, but one of the first things cut when budgets get tight. So how do you see what you're doing as claiming as its space in EdTech? And is mentorship simply precious, or is it a core part of education? And if it's the latter, how do you get there?
Sure. Thank you for that framework. I would shift it a bit in that, back to my experience with the Obama campaign that then turned into the My Brother's Keeper Alliance. With the shifting politics, what I consistently find is that the demand is very strong. We were featured in a Black Enterprise article in the spring of 2016, and we had 60 demo signups in a week from 10 different states. These are people starting schools, people in enrichment work, mentors, how can I get involved? Folks from Wall Street Journal we just talked to today, I want to be a mentor. And people are looking to get involved in a project and an innovative solution because they know that they can't be in Oakland, they can't be in St. Louis, they can't be in Memphis, Orlando. After heinous acts of violence in this country, people are looking to heal, right? And they're looking for an organization that can accept them on a reduced barrier access point. So they don't have to try that hard to get involved. We can just figure out how they can remotely upload their story and have peer-to-peer connections. The last part of your question, I think, is the ed tech elbowing ourselves out in the marketplace and creating space. What we do is prioritize that cultural competence piece that other mentoring organizations, large-scale mentoring organizations, I mentor, Big Brothers Big Sisters, they're currently not leveraging it in the same way, and also having students change their behavior in ways that isn't curated, like Facebook. So 15-year-olds aren't on Facebook the way that they used to be. So we think a lot about how we can create a space for them to engage in a program where, you know, a school is giving them access, but then they can also access it offline when they're not in that program, which is the pain point, the major pain point of the over 100 demos we've done in the past year to figure out what's going on in the market. So we listen to our users, we're data-driven, we're student-driven, and students have also given us input on what they want to see.